Good morning, Breakfast Club family. This is Mark Stevens for your host, Joe Shoup. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. Got a few things to talk about this morning. Just got off the line with Joe, who hasn't been to bed. We still got a few little kinks there we're trying to get worked out here. But we're almost there, so we'll get there. Hopefully in the next couple days we will be finished. We're working on some letters to go into the back office there, some autoresponder letters and some invitation letters, a few things that we need to change, and we are working on the final markup. We think that's done, so we know that Anson should be back from vacation today, and Joe will be in touch with them today, as well as myself, and we will get things going, and you will be very pleased. Hold on one second. Let me check something here. Okay. Good morning, Vic. How are you? You there? Victor, Victor, Victor. I see you, but I don't hear you. In the event that you're working on your mic or something, I will go ahead and continue. We won't be that long today because basically all I want to do is kind of give you some updates. And I do want to bring a couple of things to your attention. Again, to reiterate how important this presentation is because of what's what's appearing on the horizon. I did some reading, and I found out that many Americans don't have enough savings in the event of an emergency. Now, as we go through life, we always have emergencies, but it's saying that many Americans don't have enough in savings in the event of an emergency. And what we offer will help alleviate that. In other words, we need to encourage people to save, but not just in a regular, savings account, but one that, if they put their money in, that it won't deteriorate. And with our gold savings account, that addresses that situation. So we have to, and we need to, explain to people that, like I mentioned, I think it was about a week ago, I said, really, because of the system that we're under, we're forced to have one type of savings account, but now we have an alternative, so I say you should have both. One, because you need that in order to conduct your business here onshore, and you need the other to protect your money offshore, if you will. And that's with the gold savings account. But you still have access to your money because when you have that gold savings account and you have it tied to that MasterCard, you can go to any ATM anywhere in the world and pull money out. So you're not at a disadvantage. It's very important. Let me share this with you. It says, when it comes to an unexpected expenses, be it an emergency room or visit or car issue, only 38% of Americans have enough money in their accounts to pay for it. Only 38%. That's pretty sad. Because really, if you don't have it in the account, what's going to happen is that, many will get the money elsewhere. And where will they get that money? They get it from friends or family. And then a lot of people will use credit cards, which is doing what? That's taking you backwards. Instead of saving, you're spending. So you're putting yourself in a precarious position. So in essence, what I'm saying is that those who maintain a household budget, which is actually 82% of Americans do maintain a household budget, and they generally track their expenses. But if you're not doing that, then you don't know where you're going to get the money, how you even can create the money to save it. But the bottom line is that you still have to have an emergency fund. You have to have money, you know, because emergencies come up. So you need to keep track. You need to do that. You need to set that up. If you don't have one, you need to find some way. You know, even if you start with just a few dollars, you have to have that, especially in times like we have and what we're going through. You know, and there's a number of ways that you can do that. I don't have time to get into that today because that's really another subject for another day. But my point is that I wanted to let you know that it does two things. It creates a problem for others, but it creates an opportunity for you. For those of us that are in Karatbars, it creates an opportunity for us. And that opportunity is letting people know that, you know, they need to have a gold savings account, you know, as their hedge against inflation, as well as their way to preserve their assets that they do have. Now, there's another situation that says this, which is very sad, and this really concerns me, and hopefully it concerns you as well, because you have the answer to what I'm going to say. We have the answer. And the thing is, what are we going to do with it? Not only do many of the Americans don't have enough, you know, in a savings in the event of an emergency, but check this out. Most Americans are just one paycheck away from the street. Now, let me say that again, because I don't know, and I want to make sure that this resonates with everybody. Most Americans, now we're supposedly the richest country in the world, but most Americans are one paycheck away from the street. That's a sad commentary for the richest country in the world, I think. Even though, you know, it's being said that a lot of Americans are feeling better about their job security, which I don't understand, and that the economy, you know, for most is theoretically doing better, which I don't understand, because we still have too high unemployment. We still have a so-called booming stock market that's really false, and foreclosures are still rampant around the country, in some states more so than others. And if we have this going on, think about this. First of all, that's sad. The other thing is this. Approximately 62% of Americans have no emergency savings. And, you know, things such as $1,000, for example, if you have to go to the emergency room. You go to the emergency room, you're looking at $1,000 these days. You know, a car repair, you're looking at a minimum of almost $500 these days. So, you know, all of these things are happening to people as I speak and as we visit with each other this morning. So family, that's what I mean about, you know, if you really care about people, like I do, we have to make them aware of what's going on. We have to make them aware that we have the solution. So this is how you're going to build your business. You build it through need. People have needs, and if you can meet the needs that people have, I'm told that you can make a great income. Well, if we're not making a great income, then we're not meeting the needs that people have. Now, the only other reason that we are not meeting those needs for people is we're not telling them about it. And what are we saying? Bottom line, go to work. Share. Just share with people. You don't have to chase them, but share with them. And if you can show them a solution to a challenge that they have, most of them will be willing to listen to you. And I won't say a majority, but a good number will act if you have something viable for them. And we do have that. So why am I on that little soapbox? Is because when I see things like that, it disturbs me, and I hope it disturbs you. Because what are we here for? What are we in business for? That's another reason why we have to let people know that we're in business. We have to market our business. It's the way that we get our information in front of people. That's why Joe and I spent a lot of time, and as we're still doing, trying to pull it all together, And I'm telling you, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's stress as well. Uh, so we have to think that way. And again, that's the importance of this presentation. It's to let people know, because the other thing that I read also was that the baby boomers are really finding out how much trouble that they're in, and they're very worried. And the millennials, they're very worried because they don't know what to do. They were looking to depend on the baby boomers for them to give them instruction and guidance and whatever. But if they're having those problems, they don't have anything to instruct them or guide them on except for you need to do something. Because if you don't do something, you're going to end up like we're ended up right now, not having enough for retirement. The retirement that we do have is wasting away. Our savings are being torn away from us. Our retirement programs are being tinkered with, whatever you want to, however you want to put it. But it's being messed with, and it's not good for us. We need to do something. What are most of them doing? They're going to McDonald's. They're going to Walmart to get jobs. We have a better alternative, I think, and I hope you think the same way. So we have to address this. I don't want to keep feeling like I'm standing on the soapbox crying out to everybody, but guess what? It's a reality. That's another thing. I am going to get on this soapbox. We have to face reality. Reality means what's in your face is real. It's not some pie in the sky or anything like that. It's for real. It has to be addressed. And Vic, I think I see you back. If you can open your mic, if you want to chime in on this a little bit, I would certainly appreciate it because it's very important, and we need to know this. And you've been in this field. You've helped a lot of people and everything. And I'd like to get that's my feeling on it. So Vic, I'd like to get your feeling on it, what your experience has been, and what's happening with you and your people now.
Well, appreciate that, Mark. Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm back in, and it's kind of interesting to me that all of a sudden I'm the one that's experiencing some technical difficulties, right? But here I am. Yeah, I agree. And I was just talking with my wife last night after reading an article, and I sent the article out to my team, that basically said, hey guys, oil prices are down, but this is just the beginning. 2008, oil prices dropped about the same amount of money, and then all of a sudden we had the boom, and it was, a financial disaster. Well, prior to that, I had spent about 6 years working with people, actually 4 to 5 years working with people, and one of our main thrusts was, how are you handling debt, or are you in debt? What's going on with your lives? And I found out that basically, 60 to 70% of the people that I called on at that time were deep in debt. The number of credit cards that were open in their house were probably 12 to 14, and they had some amount of money charged on each one. And they were only making minimum payments, and of course the interest rates were up at 25 to 29%, and they were just deep in trouble. So that's huge. And people are still, because the economy has, as the media has portrayed it, been much better recently. People have gone out and put themselves right back into debt and are not looking at the signs. There's some notable quotes that say, read the signs of the time, and I think you know what I mean. We need to be aware of the signs of the time. The economy is headed for the tank right now, as my estimation, and we need to alert. So I was telling my wife this last night because she saw that the oil prices were down and gas prices are down, and she was saying, oh great, this is good for the economy. And I said, okay, let's talk, because it's not really good. It's just going to mesmerize some people, and they're going to walk through their life like, hey, nothing this serious is going to happen, and we know about it. We know that we're facing some troubled times. The market cycles every 6 to 8 years, And since 2008, we're at the 6-year mark now. So get ready, folks, because things are going to happen. Puts us in a prime position for talking to people about what we do and how they can protect their assets and how they need to accumulate some assets with their gold-backed savings account. So I think the time is ripe. I think we need to be bold and get out with our story and confront people and just ask them to look at what we have and pay attention to the signs of the time. Does that help?
That helps a lot, Vic, because you know, a lot of people, they can't save because they have so much debt. And again, if you want to have a good quality of life, you have to get out of a lot of the debt that you're in. And you know, when I see that the majority of Americans, or great many of them, are one paycheck away from the street, that's scary. And you know, a while back you read the headlines and they used to talk about the boomerang kids. For those of you that don't know or didn't have kids or whatever, those are the kids that go away to college, they go out, get a job or whatever, but they end up back home because they can't make it out there. Number one, they got a lot of college debt that they accumulate, that they have to pay, and so it doesn't allow some of them to even buy a home because they got all these other debts and bills that they have to pay. So again, that has to be addressed. And when you look at the stock market, if you think a 300-point drop is not much, it is, but guess what? You're going to start seeing 1,000-point drops, and it's going to drop and drop and drop, and then you're going to see what Vic and I are talking about. Because again, I'm not in paper. I don't care what the stock market does. I do care about other people because I love people. I care about you, my family, because I love you. So I'm out of paper. I'm in precious metals. I'm in money. Money that is money, has been money, and will be money for time, eternity, and everything. And that's what we need to be getting over the people, if you will. In other words, you know, and this just came to me just now, to my mind just now. When I go to the bank from now on, if somebody happens to smile at me and say hi like I do to them or whatever and everything, and they start a conversation, I'm going to ask them, you know, you have your banking, you have your savings account, yes. Then I'm going to ask them about, do you have the new savings account? What new savings account? Well, let me ask you this: have you seen the new international money? What money? You think that's not going to trouble their mind? Well, I mean, you have the money that you have here, that you got today, that you transacted with, and you have your savings or checking account that you have here, right? Yeah. Well, that's the one that's here, but guess what? You need one to protect that one. Well, what kind of account is that? Have you ever heard of a gold savings account? Oh, no. You know, gold is so expensive, I can't afford gold. Well, if there were a way that you could afford gold in small increments and had a hedge against inflation and had a way to preserve the assets that you have right here, right now, would you want to know more about it? Yeah. I would. And then you go from there. So it's not hard. It's being creative and asking questions, asking the right questions. What do you think about that, Vic?
I think that's right on. Those are the questions that really will spark somebody's thinking, as you just said. You know, that's going to trouble their mind. You're going to plant that seed, and that's going to cause them to say, okay, what does this really mean? And they're going to start thinking about it. You're right, absolutely right. And it's interesting because you know, when you came on, Mark, I was actually on a phone call. I do a little bit with the Chamber of Commerce here locally, and I have a meeting tomorrow morning, and one of my attendees was calling me to tell me that he just got laid off, and he was the #1 rep in the country for his company. They laid off 1,000 people yesterday.
What kind of company was that, Vic?
It's in advertising and marketing.
Wow.
So all of a sudden you have this national company, nationwide company, laying off 1,000 reps. Read the signs of the times, folks. People are going to be in dire straits here, coming up rather rapidly. And I don't mean to be, because I'm not a negative person, and
No.
I'm not a person that likes doom and gloom, and I don't mean to profess that, because there are alternatives. So I immediately said, well, what are you looking for? What do you want to do? Are you interested in looking at something that might be very positive and that you could build with for the future, and that you wouldn't have to worry about being laid off because you're in control of it, and it's up to your efforts as to how successful the business is? And he said, well, yes, I'll look at it. So, like you said, it's the questions, asking the right questions.
That's mind-boggling. Again, as I said, earlier, that people are thinking that the economy has gotten better and that job security is better. Well, Vic, you just shared with us right now, that it's not. 1,000 people being laid off. I mean, that's crazy. Can you imagine the trauma that creates for those 1,000 people who have
marketing representatives and salespeople?
Yeah.
Those, and I don't know if folks realize this, but when you start cutting salespeople, you have just admitted that your company is in trouble.
Exactly. And the other thing is the fact that those people have mortgages, they have kids, they have families that they have to take care of, and now can you imagine the stress that puts on them? So sure. I'm saying that to say this is that we are a very special group right now. Not that you haven't been special, but I mean we are really needed as never before, and we have to work harder and tell more people about what we have, because we can prevent. They can get started now. I would imagine most people, Vic, don't even have a plan B, or they haven't even thought about a plan B.
Right. No, people don't think in those terms typically. My wife is a school teacher, and she has been for 30 years. And she came home. She was on a 2-week break, and this is how this whole thing plays out. But she was on a 2-week break, and during those 2 weeks, towards the end of the second week, she became very melancholy and wasn't being very productive around the house. And I had said to her when we first got married 5 years ago that people need to retire to something, not from something. And I'm just using that as a base statement, because you have to have a plan B. You have to have something in the works that you're going to be doing. And if it's not income producing, that's fine, but you have to be doing something. But for most of us, it needs to be income producing. So you got to have a plan B. You got to know what's around you, and you got to know that there are alternatives available.
And see, Vic, the thing that I've always tried to get over to my clients in the many years that I've been in this business, and even people today, is that when you think about money, there's only 2 ways to get money. That's man at work or money at work. Now, it's better, believe it or not, to have money at work that you don't have to worry about it too much. But if you don't, then you as a man or woman, you have to be at work to produce income to then have work for you to produce more income. And Robert Kiyosaki talks about that all the time and everything. So we need to understand that, because, again, the most important economy is the one in your very own home. And that's the one that you have to take care of. You can't depend on anyone else, no government, definitely not a government, to take care of you. You have to take care of you. You have to take care of your own economy, and you have to be the economist in your home in order to protect yourself and your family, because those are the times that we're living in. And again, Victor, I'm like you. I don't like negativity. I don't even like to be around it. But one of the things I did learn in my life to face, and that's reality. If it ain't happening, there's a reason for it, and you have to make it happen. You have to make it happen positively, and you have to make it happen now, and you have to make it happen right. So again, all this goes back to the presentation that Joe and I put together, because it addresses all of these things for the baby boomers, for the millennials, for everybody else. And for most of us ourselves, we have to understand this, because if we don't understand it, how are we going to teach it to someone else? So with that being said, because we're near the bottom of the hour, what I want to do, Vic, let's look at the chat box and see what any comments that are in there, or what any questions that might be in there before we close out. Roger says that not for us not to forget that 47% of all Americans are on some kind of government subsistence, food stamps, welfare, etc. Roger, you're right. And the thing is that some people are in that position that they can't help but to be that in that situation right now. But the thing is, they can learn to rise above that situation. But they have to have opportunity. What does our opportunity cost? Our opportunity costs absolutely zero. You go in, you look at it, you sign up, you get a free account, you tell others. Eventually it creates income for you that you can eventually graduate out of what you're in and get into something positive. That's the beauty of what we have. So that's one thing. Let's see what else we have in here.
Yeah, again, Mark, I am not seeing the chat on this computer for some reason, so I'm relying upon you. But you said something just now that really got my attention, and I must admit, Mark, I had never heard this before. It's either man at work or money at work. Now, I wrote that down because I think that we really need to spend time, and if we have time, maybe later on this week, talking about that particular subject, man at work or money at work, and expound on how you can deliver that message to an audience.
Okay, Vic, that's very, yeah, we'll have to take up that subject because it's very important, and it affects everybody. It affects everybody, and we'll have to do that. Now, there was a question. You gave out a website yesterday, streak.com. That's STREAK.com, and it's not street.com. So somebody was asking about that.
Sure. And I had a phone call yesterday afterwards from somebody, and they connected with me on Skype, and they said, you know, we want to know more about Streak because you know, I want to use that system for emailing my clients. And so I was able to spend about 10 minutes with them and show them some of the features on Streak. So people, just don't be afraid to go to Streak, look at the helps menus, and, you know, just sort of walk through the demonstration that you see there, and then use your imagination as to how you can set this up and use it as a tool to communicate with people. It's even the free version is powerful.
Well, we're definitely going to have to do that. I didn't get a chance to do that myself yesterday, but I am going to do that because I'm very interested in that. You know, I have some system, but, you know, again, you have to always be open to change. You know, without change, there's no progress. So we have to embrace change. And, again, that'll be a change for a lot of people, I'm quite sure, Victor, and you know, operating their business and, you know, making their business grow. So we're going to have to do something about that, too, to be able to really share that, you know, with our Breakfast Club family. So it's now 29 minutes after the top of the hour. I don't see any other comments in here. Wait a minute. Let's see here.
I just want you to comment on the snow that fell in your area yesterday and paralyzed the traffic.
Oh man, it was it was terrible. A lot of accidents. Schools having children. You know, if your school systems don't react as to the weather, when it's coming, how it's coming, and how much, they'll have your children standing out there in the snow, like our children were, freezing, wondering when and if the bus is going to come. And then they apologize later, after the fact. So it wasn't a good day yesterday for Fairfax County or this metropolitan area for the kids or anything. And today, it's not bad at all, and yet they have a 2-hour delay. Maybe there's going to be a lot of ice patches around or whatever like that. But the thing is go ahead, babe.
We had school yesterday, and it was incredibly snowing and blowing up here. But today it is the chill factor is -10 right now.
Wow.
I just talked with Matt before this, and I think he said his chill factor was -45.
Oh my goodness, -45.
Yeah.
How can you survive that? You can't even go outside, can you?
You better be well prepared if you do.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Those are temperatures I can't hardly find them. 45.
So we're leaving them with some chilling facts here, Mark.
It's really amazing. So, Breakfast Club family, again, we're making progress. I feel pretty sure by the end of the week, if not before. But see, the thing is, we don't want you to go in and then have a big glitch. We want to make sure that the letters are right, because Joe stayed up all night. We talked yesterday, and he stayed up all night. He told me. He knew it was going to upset me, but he told me anyway. He said, look, we've got to get this done. So I'm going to be up all night, and I'm going to, we're going to create these letters, and I'll call you, and we'll go over them together and make sure that's right. So that's what he does. We talk, and we design these letters. He's the basic designer of it, but he asked me for my ideas, and I put my ideas in there, what to say and how to say it, and then we come together and say, okay, we agree on that. Then that's how we do it. But we have to make sure that it's right, and then we have to. Another thing too is that when you embed a video in a letter, it has to be. It's called coding. The programmers have to code it in HTML, whatever you call it. I think it's HTML. Well, y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of you do that are computer literate and everything. But those are the things that have to be done in order to do that and to have the finished product. And that's what we're working on, and we're through. We have it pretty much done, but we just have to finish designing the letters for the follow-up letters in it. And that's what Joe is going to be doing today, so that we can get to them, and within the next day or so, they can code it and put it up on the server, and hopefully by the end of the week that we can say, voila, it's there. You can go in and you can start using the funnel, and we have the presentation and everything there, because I can tell you it's going to be a wonderful change. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to say this, that's basically what I'm going to be using. You still have the friends and family and the 12-week financial freedom plan, but they need more, because you have to talk to all types of people today, because all types of people, high, low, mid-income, they need it. They need us. And we have the answer. Karatbars is the answer. And it's the only answer that I practically know right now. I don't know of any other answer. But, if I've got even one to help somebody, I want to be able to make that available to them. So with that being said, peace and blessings to you all. We love you all. Go out today, make it a great day. Change your life, change your career, city, state, country, and most of all, help us to change, bring change to this world. They need stress out of their life. They need financial change. They need, time change. So let's help provide that. Let's work together. It's not about Joe Shoup, not about Mark Stevens, not about Victor Shattuck. It's about you and about us. So let's work together to make that happen. So with that being said, peace and blessings to you. This is Mark Stevens, for our host Joe Shoup, saying go out today, everybody. Make it a great day, and we will see you tomorrow back here on The Breakfast Club. Make it a great day, everybody.